Shalom, shalom, Israel. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom to all the men and women who are rehearsing the righteous acts day in and day out. Shalom to you. Before we get started, I want to give all praises, all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule well with prudent preaching and teaching across the four corners of the world, to the hopeful elect, all the sincere men and women who are seeking this 100% true gospel for salvation in the name of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Okay, so today's video, don't really have a title for this video yet, but it is concerning the mark. It is concerning about the C-hip, okay? So let's get started here. Let's go to Revelations 13 and 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, okay? And this is the book of Revelations, and it's referring to the beast, okay? And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, right? So it doesn't matter how much money you got, how broke you are, whether you are a self-sustained, law-abiding citizen, right? Business owner, or still under captivities, like all of us Hebrew Israelites, all you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indigenous of the America, you will receive a mark in your right hand or in your forehead. Okay? And that is what this, the beast, right, of the book of Revelations is speaking of, right? You've got two beasts. You got the beast of the sea, which is NATO, and then the beast of the earth, right? And, that's what's getting ready to happen here. And that's why the infrastructure is already being set in place for many years. Okay, the foundation for this to take place has already been set. Okay, let's continue reading here. Revelations 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, so you're not going to be able to purchase anything, right, or sell anything. And already we have the infrastructure set in place, because right now you still have the cash system out there a little bit, but that's slowly been taken away, right? And now you have the so-called D card, right? Debit card, where, certain stores, that's all they take. So the next and final step would be the C-hip that they're talking about, okay? And that's what this lesson is about today, about the C-hip, okay? Let's take a look at this. Just a couple images here. And just like this system right here that you're seeing here, a couple different images. A little merchant slider that you could tap now. Before it was actual just, currency, paper money. And before the paper money, it was silver and gold. So the revolution came about, from gold and silver into actual paper currency, right, backed by gold. And now the new NWO system that the beast is pushing the whole world to be under, okay, is to be completely under the system of the RFID C-hip, okay? And we're already at the second last stage, getting ready to go into the last one. Because right here, as you see this, let's take a I guess we could use this picture right here. It's showing a man, and he's got his little card right there, right? And as you can see, that card, it's got NFC on there, which is CHIP on there. It's got a CHIP, right? So, you know, this devil, this beast, has been slowly closing in the walls on the world to eventually get the CHIP implanted, like it says in the book of Revelations, you know, so to the point where you won't be able to buy or sell, right? Let's take a look at a picture of the actual end goal for this devil. And you can see right here, there's a good picture right here where it'll be inserted in your hand or in your forehead, right? So we're at this stage right now, right? We have been, you know, trained every day to purchase either food, any item you would like at a retail store or a restaurant, to pull out your wallet from your right hand and use this little NFC technology here, right? Which NFC stands for near field communication, right? So before that, there was the actual paper currency, right? You'd have to go in your right pocket, take out your money, count the money, purchase, right? You do that several times in a day for any item or food you would like, right? For hundreds of years. And now the last couple amount of years, you've been designed to do this little tapping technique here, right? Slowly, psychologically getting you used to this system, right? To the point where you enjoy it. You even say, wow, look at the convenience. I don't have to count money. I just pull out go into my right hand pocket, grab my card and tap, right? Bleep, right? So slowly luring you into this beast system, okay? And this will be the final goal right here, where you receive that right there, okay? And that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark. And that's going to be implemented with rules and laws, right? You know, this heathen could come at us in many different ways, you know. Could scare you into getting the CHIP, or I believe he'll also use signs and wonders, right? To, you know, convince and have people lining up, begging to get the CHIP for a lot of benefits that they will show to the world, a lot of benefits, financial or even medical benefits, right? To show that he is the savior himself, right? To prove to the world that, hey, there's no problem that I can't handle. Come to me, get the CHIP, and all your problems will go away and you will be happy, okay? So let's go over here. Let's go to Revelations 19 and 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet, that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. Okay, and the beast was taken, right? And eventually this beast is going to be taken down by Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. And with him the false prophet, right, that wrought miracles right before him. So this false prophet is going to show a lot of miracles on earth, right, with this device, right, luring people in, seeing the convenience of it. You will be like a human processor, right, be able to process things instantly, right, just like a fast new processor, right? You'll be able to calculate math, I'm sure, within fractions of a second, like a calculator, be a walking encyclopedia, etc. Right? Who knows what kind of creative, wicked, spells of miracles he's going to be casting and promoting and marketing across the globe, right? With which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. Okay, so he's gonna deceive because this is a very subtle, wicked serpent, this devil, okay, which currently reign the world right now are these Edomites, right? Okay, and that is speaking of the first beast, right? Okay, so just like he's going to deceive them that had received the mark of the beast and them that worship his image, these both were cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone. Okay, and eventually that is what's going to happen to any heathen or wicked that receives that mark. Okay, it doesn't matter who it is, whoever receives that mark, these both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone, right? And this is always a spiritual stumbling block, especially for a lot of anti-Christians out there and other religions. They are visualizing just a lake of fire, but they don't realize what caused that fire. That is a huge lake, right? Is the ICBM missiles that are coming here to Babylon the Great. Because in case you didn't know, this is here in the spirit. America is Babylon the Great. Is Sodom and Egypt as well, right? Egypt being the land of the house of bondage, right? Because that's what is referred to. Egypt is the house of bondage, the house of slavery, right? And that is getting ready to happen here soon, right? But before all this happens, there has to be a lot of the third woe has to take place. They can't just, because this is this is a devil, a very slick, subtle devil, like it says in the book of let's go to Genesis 3 here. Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua had made, right? And Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua has made this serpent like that, right? Edom can't help himself but to be a devil, okay? Okay, and that's exactly what he is. And he said unto the woman, yea, had Yahweh said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Trying to lure Eve in, asking a question, because he knew that she was a weaker vessel. Okay, so this devil, this serpent has always been very subtle with his moves. Okay, they're not going to come over here, strong arm you into taking anything. Okay, all they have to do is put certain rules or regulations, implement certain laws to force your hand. Okay, because like we just got done reading in Revelations 13, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. That simple. That means you're not going to be able to get no medical assistance. You won't be able to purchase anything or any medicine. Okay. All right. So all these things you are going to be vulnerable to, right? Just like you are right now. Okay. The difference is you have options right now. You could still even use cash in some places. Some places you can't. You still have to use the CHIP, right? Right now, the CHIP is a tangible card. That's all it is. But the last and final death blow to the world would be the one that's implanted, right? Like we just got done reading here in 13. Here we go. 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay. So you're not going to be able to do pretty much nothing, be able to survive. Okay, that's why it's so important to understand this. And a lot of people, it could become a spiritual stumbling block. Some people feel like they have to become a certain expert when it comes to this tech type of a world, knowing about RFID, NFC, which is near field communication. You don't have to be an expert in none of that crap. All you have to have is faith, right? And fear of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? That's why the true men of the Lord are coming out daily, out in the highways and hedges, right? Preaching this 100% true gospel, starting with the apostles and elders, a great millstone, okay? Who are prudent with their teaching, okay? So, again, you don't have to know all this, what CBDC stands for, right? You don't have to. But if you want to, that's fine, right? But just know all this is going to funnel you in. And that's exactly what this devil has been doing. He's going to slowly funnel you in to this final result, which is this one right here. Right? Having it inside your body or your forehead. And look at this guy. Look at this picture here. This one has it on his shoulder right here, what it looks like. Slovakia, if I can't get it. You see that? That's a big, long one there, okay? So, again, don't let that be a stumbling block because it said hand or forehead, okay? Hey, what if this devil says, oh, well, we could put it in your shoulder, okay? You're going to be okay, okay? So, anything that's inside your body, a foreign object like that, especially it having the mark of the beast like we just got done reading, having the name of the beast, okay, you would be committing the ultimate wicked, sinful act, right? Completely being submissive to the serpent and Satan himself, right? Okay, so that's why you cannot be deceived, right? Because this is a subtle, a very slick, very calculated devil that you're dealing with here, okay? And as you can see throughout the ages, all this foundation has already been set in place. All you have to do now is take this implant and your day will be like the same as always. They'll say it's more convenient. You don't even have to count your money. You don't have to come in even in your wallet anymore. You have to dig in your right hand pocket. You just stick your arm out and bleep. That is it. You might get to even just walk in stores nowadays. I've heard they got some stores where they just walk in there, grab everything that has a serial number already. And that's exactly what the RFID system is, Okay. See, we see some. That's all it is, okay? And this is the an RFID stands for radio frequency identification. Okay. So this system, that's being pushed by the beast, it's already, the foundation has been set for many years ago, okay? And it's just slowly closing in the walls on us to the point where a lot of people will fold, right? Because they don't have faith, right? Or they believe, or they felt they didn't get the true technology or understanding of the technology, how it works, therefore it's not real. And then, they feel like they could take it, and that's going off. And because again, you don't have to be an expert. You just have to have fear and faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to know that the end goal is what I showed you. And you don't want to get that, okay? Because that'll be the ultimate death blow for yourself and salvation, Okay. And I was reading here earlier a little bit of the history of this RFID. In 1945, Leon Theremin invented the Thing, a listening device for the Soviet Union, which transmitted instant radio waves with the added audio information. Sound waves vibrated a diaphragm, which slightly altered the shape of the resonator, which modulated the reflected radio frequency. Okay, this is a bunch of science crap here, but this is what I wanted to read here. Similar technology, such as the identification friend or foe transponder. Okay, so this is this little part I was reading in World War II is what they use, right? Similar technology, such as the identification friend or foe transponder, was routinely used by the Allies and Germany in World War II to identify aircraft, Salakia, as friendly or hostile. Okay, so this is what the Germans used in World War II to identify aircraft as friendly or hostile, right? Transponders are still used by most powered aircraft. Okay, so think about this devil having this ID on the mass, the whole world, right? He could just label you as a friend or a foe, as you just got done reading here, right? To identify who's the friend and who's the foe, right? Who I could keep still under bondage, under slavery, and who I could consider somewhat of an ally, right? As we got done reading here, was routinely used by the Allies and Germany in World War II, right? So if you're a Negro, Latino, or Native Indigenous, which one do you think you'll be labeled as? All right, I'll leave you with that question. Okay, the friend or the foe? Okay. Let's go here to so like we just got done reading, this is a very slick, devil you're dealing with, okay? And that's getting ready to happen really soon. As you know, the second woe has passed and the third cometh quickly, right? Like it says in Revelations 11 and 14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, right? And the woe is referring to the world war is past, and behold, the third woe is coming quickly, right? And all through social media, news, they've already categorized this as a war already, okay? So there's no secret. Prophecy is taking its course, okay? And all this has to be fulfilled in order for these devils to then go on to the next move into scaring people or manipulating or forcing your hand literally into taking this device in order for you to just live your life. Okay? So, with that being said, I just want to make a quick little video on that. Lord willing, this was edifying to the hopeful elect or any men and women who are sincere into receiving this 100% true gospel. Okay, before I go, I want to give all praises, all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rahakwadash. Slaki. Yeah. Bahasham Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who are preaching and teaching this truth with humility and sincerity across the four corners of the world to so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indigenous of the America, and the speckled bird that are amongst those nations that look like those from those other nations, but their lineage goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as well. Shalom.